Hi guys, I am back with another video, and today we're going to be talking all about toxic workplaces. And I know we've all at some point worked in a toxic environment, but how do you know when the environment is toxic? Let's get into it. Hi guys, my name is Lloyd and I talk all things career, corporate and HR. Now, today's topic is determining when or how or if your workplace is toxic. So, here are some signs that you can look for to determine if you are working in a toxic environment. Yes, so the first sign that you're working in a toxic work environment is the high level of stress compounded by heavy, and I mean heavy, micromanagement, where you're held under a microscope, that every little single thing you do, you're being judged, it's being brought up, you're being sanctioned. It's like the stress level is so high that a lot of persons are saying their hair is falling out, or you wake up in the morning and it's with a heavy heart that you have to prepare to go to work. It's like, God, if you can find another way for me to make money, I wouldn't go here today. Like that level of stress. Once you feel that way about your work, then yes, there's a high possibility you are working in a toxic environment. The next thing I would say is unrealistic workload. You know, there are some of us who carry heavy workload, but it's not the same as unrealistic workload where you already have so much to do and you're doing, and then your boss sends you something and say, hey, it's urgent, I need it right away. You already have a high list of things that they've asked you to do, but then they've added on to that and they say, hey, I need this right now, or I need this right away. And if you don't, or you ever slip up or you don't provide it to them right away, then meetings are called and it's being highlighted that you're such a bad employee because you're falling back behind on your work, when realistically the workload that you're getting, you cannot meet the deadline that is being set. Now, the next one I would say is favoritism. Yes, as easy as the word sounds, in the when you have favoritism in the workplace, it shows to the other employee that they're not as important. And you know when somebody is being favored because you can see them doing the wrong thing, or you see them not doing enough, or you see them not doing their job, yet they're the ones that are getting to go on certain training, yet they're the ones that are being promoted, yet they're the ones that get all of this time off, and you apply for a simple time off to go run an important error and you can't get it, and you cannot get it. And with that favoritism, the next one I would like to go down to is poor work-life balance. When a workplace wants you to work overtime every single evening or every weekend, and you're not getting a chance to take care of your life at home, that is toxic. That is toxic and it needs to be looked at, because just as you're spending time and you're investing and you're building something at work, you are supposed to be building something at home as well. You are supposed to be giving back to your home. Next, now if you see me looking down, is that I've made a list because I want to ensure that these points are touched on. The other thing is a lack of recognition. Now, the other point that I would like to suggest or say is a negative environment where the air, I don't know, but when you work in the Caribbean, you normally hear somebody say, whoa, this place feel heavy now, or this place is not light at all. The atmosphere is just so heavy when you walk in. You ever walk into a room and it's like you can slice the tension with a knife? When you have that type of negativity in the place, you know that place is toxic. When you have that level of tension, you know that place is toxic. The other thing is poor communication. I once had a boss that could not take critique but loves to critique, in the sense that if this boss tells you something that's incorrect and you say no, that's not the case, and you provide the correct thing, that boss will then take offense and try to manage you out of the workplace, in the sense that that boss now finds you as a threat. So what, and this is an experience of mine, what this boss once did is, I have my work that I have to do, and this boss directly inserted themselves in it to cut me out, insert someone else, and started to keep meetings that will affect the way my work is done, because I am not being informed. I don't have a say in what needs to be done or what is the policy and so forth. And it was an attempt to frustrate me, because you feel threatened by me in so much that you cut the communication completely off, hoping that I will get frustrated and leave. And that's where, so you create a negative environment. What a negative boss has also done to me is to call, like, say poor, untrue things about me to my colleagues, and that's where blame culture come in as a toxic environment. Where I had another boss that would call you into their office and say, this person told me, this person told me that you did this or you said this. And only over time you came to the realization that no one said anything, no one did anything. This is the boss way of trying to conjure up certain feelings among the staff members, because this boss felt threatened by the staff speaking to each other. So the boss would make statements like, oh, the employees are gossiping, and the employees, they're toxic, and a whole bunch of negativity. So persons didn't feel comfortable speaking to each other, at least in that space, So that's where we talk about toxic work culture. And I know a lot of persons feel that, what, you leave high school, behave in high school, but it will surprise you when you enter into the working environment how much more toxic, how much more worse it can be when you're dealing with adults. Surprisingly, when you're dealing with adults, you're under so much pressure. So all of that is to say that when you've experienced that thing or those things, you are working in a toxic environment. And I must say that I'm sorry that you have to face that, or you had to face that if you got out of it. I know that there are some persons that are also still battling with it. And that's why I made this video, so that persons can know that you are not alone, or it's not in your mind. Like, yes, you are experiencing a toxic culture. Now, what do you do when you are exposed to such a toxic culture will depend on your situation. And the first thing I would suggest somebody do, if it's possible for you, to leave that job completely before it affects your sanity, before it affects, and when something affects you mentally, eventually it's going to affect you physically. You're going to see certain signs. And if you have the means to say, oh, I'm quitting this cold turkey until I get another job, do that. If you can't quit, then start making plans, like whether that means applying to another job, whether it means saving a certain amount of money so you can leave until you find another job. All of that are things you can do. Or when you see that somebody is trying to manage you out of your job so that you can leave, so that they wouldn't have to fire you because they don't have grounds to fire you, and you know that you are in the right, and you know that you have a great job, then don't allow them to push you out. I would say to push back, but push back on the side of caution. And the side of caution is a sign of the law, where you can't be caught slipping up, like, hey, you breach this, I'm going to write you up. We have a disciplinary panel against you. Oh, now we now have a chance in which we can get you out. Do the right thing. And at the end of the day, at least I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I think that it says what goes wrong always comes back around, you know. And later on, you never know, the persons who were doing this to you, persons who are creating that culture for you, their turn is coming, or their turns are coming very soon. But for now, just do what's best for you. So yes, those are some signs that you are working in a toxic environment, or you have worked in a toxic environment. And I do hope that things get better for you. So thank you for watching. And if you like what you see, like what you hear, and you would like to become a part of the fam, please go ahead and subscribe and like. And until our next video, bye.